Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm your host Tony Coleman, and today I'm going to give a rundown on my passive income for the month of October of 2023. For those of you just checking in, how I usually do is I start with my lowest earner, work my way up to the highest earner. As I go, I try to explain where those incomes come from and what those sites or apps or whatever are for. And then I also will usually mention if they're down or if they're up and reasons that I can come up with for those to do so. And then I also try to follow up with any apps that I'm currently looking into or testing or have heard to look into possibly, but we'll get into that towards the end of the video. So to start off, my lowest earner in October was Telefia. Telefia is a mobile application on Android where they basically just monitor performance for the phone, the network, the carrier, that sort of thing. It's just a data collection for analyzing stuff. So usually you get $1 per week plus an additional $1 after completing 28 days. So you could technically make up to $5 a month. I have a couple accounts, even though that's kind of breaking the terms of service, but I had the accounts before they changed those rules, so it is what it is. But I ended up cashing out $6.50 in October. They usually pay out within a week's time frame. For me, it's usually within a few days, but sometimes they get delayed and it takes 2 or 3 weeks for some people to get paid. Here in the US, we're pretty much cashed out to PayPal. Pretty straightforward app though once you get it on there, but I find that it's not as passive as it used to be. It'll keep closing itself out, so you want to check on it like daily just to see if it's running, or maybe launch it every couple days or something. That way you stay on top of it, but it's a few extra bucks each month, pretty easy to do. So moving on from there is Survey Savvy. Survey Savvy, it's a VPN application provided by Savvy Connect. The app is a VPN. Basically, they're monitoring like the traffic through your device. In the past, it was $5 for a phone, $5 for a tablet, and $5 for a web browser on your PC. So you can make up to $15 a month. They recently have changed that to where it's only $3 for 2 Android devices. So you could get basically $6 a month now. So it cut the earnings down to about a third of what it was. Almost not worth hassling with, but it's still pretty passive. You just leave the app running on the phone or tablet, and then just have the browser extension running, logged in, and basically it's easy money. So you can also do surveys. Those obviously aren't passive. Anyone in the world can do surveys, but only people in the United States can use the Savvy Connect application for the VPN. So it is what it is as far as who can earn, who can't. But again, the application portion of it is passive, so I ran it. Who knows what I'll end up earning coming in the future, just because I really don't want to keep up on it for a very small amount of money. So moving on from them, I actually cashed out my points in October. I had mostly referral revenues and some what they call magic receipts. Basically, I uploaded some receipts for a few offers or whatever. I usually only do that on my points whenever my Swagbucks account stops offering like a penny per receipt, or maybe there was a problem uploading additional, and usually that just means move on to another one of the Protege apps. So I ended up cashing out $10 in October. It's kind of my go-to after Swagbucks, like I said. So My Points is a GPT website. For those who are unfamiliar with the terminology, a GPT stands for Get Paid To. And basically, you go there, you sign up, and they have several options for earning, whether it's doing surveys, downloading applications, playing video games, watching videos, cash back from purchasing at sites, that sort of thing. So lots of different ways to earn at GPT websites. They all have their own rates, so sometimes it's good to shop around between them because one offer may actually be worth significantly more at another GPT site. So if you hear me mention something with GPT, that's what I'm talking about going further, because I do multiple GPT sites. So after my points, EarnApp. EarnApp is a bandwidth sharing application. I don't typically like the bandwidth sharing applications. That's why I don't talk about a lot of them very often. I don't use them very heavy. I usually run them enough just to keep my accounts active, just in case I get a few referrals on them. EarnApp, I have what they call Piggybox. I mention it every month. Piggybox was another device that does basically the exact same thing as the application does on a PC, only it's a hardware device that you can plug straight in your network and not have to worry about installing and updating the app yourself. The Piggybox guarantees, allegedly, $10 a month. It doesn't always come out to $10 a month. Sometimes it's more, sometimes a little less, just based on how many days in the rotation of them paying you out. And for anybody who's looking to get one now, they did make it exclusive to your specific account when they sent them, so you can't just take someone else's and it'll work for you. It will go back to their account, so you'll try it. You actually have to get a hold of EarnApp and have them reassociate it, and I don't know if they're even really doing it. They're also out of stock. They've been out of stock for probably a year. I doubt they bring any more back. But if you can get a whole one, great. But I've got one. I leave it on my mobile connection so that my IP address changes often and I don't have to worry about it killing my IP address score. Why that's important is because anybody who does what's considered beer money or is part of the beer money community, your IP quality score will determine quite a bit how much money you can earn from anything that's ad generated, or even if sites will let you log into their website. It basically is a score that identifies how much of a risk you are for fraud. So if you're running any of these bandwidth sharing apps, they do kill the IP quality score. I always have people who are trying to convince people to use their referrals will say, oh no, never happened to me, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it does. I've watched it happen on multiple connections, multiple accounts. It happens. And a lot of other users in the community have seen it happen too. And that's not even the worst case. Since you don't even know what they're doing across your network, these apps are creating basically a proxy on your network. It's possible for some of them to do illegal activities, and you are responsible for that activity that comes across your network. So each of these applications will say, no, we vet our customers, so you don't have to worry. It's risk-free. It's not risk-free. I've actually had cease and desist letters from using a few of these bandwidth sharing apps. It does happen, and yes, there are some legal repercussions that can happen from it. So just keep all that in mind. What country you're in can determine how aggressive they are about this stuff. So it's kind of up to you on how risky you want to get with it. So moving on from EarnApp, I almost went without saying how much. I earned $10.62 in October. I think some of that was from the actual application, which I have on a laptop on the same IP connection. So if the Piggybox goes down for some reason, the laptop sometimes kicks in, and it might have been a little bit carryover from the previous month, depending on how it paid out to you. So anyway, moving on, for the next one would have been Lootupme. That is a GPT website. The only thing I do with Lootupme is cash my Hideout TV points to it. The reason I go to it for Hideout is because they pay more money for the points from Hideout than pretty much any other GPT site. Both Hideout and Lootupme is owned by the same parent company, which is AdSend Media, so they can kind of pay a little extra where other GPT sites can't. But I only made $11.29 and cashed out in October for that. Hideout has been going through a lot of changes. Basically, they try to skirt the ad media companies' way of doing things by making multiple websites so that they can keep their website quality score or whatever they want to call it. Basically, their rating for whether or not they are promoting fraud through people just doing what people are doing with these apps, and that's not actually watching the videos. The media companies will flag the website as having too much fraud going on, so then they will stop sending traffic to that website. And instead of fixing the problem, what Hideout will do is they'll just open up more websites and then send more traffic through there. And then that way it looks like it's a new website. They continue to get new traffic. So if anybody wonders why they keep making new websites to go to and they're hyping them saying, oh, they make more, it's because they're basically skirting the fraud system that's in place by the media companies and are continuing to deliver the ads that way instead of fixing it or combating the problem themselves. Basically, they're getting off cheap, maximizing their profit by not supporting the ad companies that are paying them. So moving on from Lootupme, the next one would be Chequity. Chequity is another GPT website. I like Chequity quite a bit. There's a good group of guys on there that run it. They've got decent rates. Their website's slick. Most of my earnings are from an auto earn option that they have, where you can basically leave yourself logged into Discord and whatever servers you're in, and in your activity description, you basically just put their website or your referral, and it is basically a way for them to advertise wherever your profile shows up. So as long as you stay logged in Discord somewhere with that going, they can detect it and they will pay you X amount of points per hour. New users start out like 1 point an hour. You can get up to 3 points an hour like I do. So you don't make a whole lot in a month, but by the time you max it out at like 3 points an hour, you can make $2 or $3 a month easy, just letting it stay logged in like that. It doesn't require a whole lot of bandwidth. It doesn't require you to be doing anything other than just have your web page open to Discord with that in the description there. So I do have a video on it if any of you are curious. The other portion of my income from it was also from their wall. There is a video streaming option in there called Watch. It's basically the same provider of ads that goes to Loot TV, and it's the same video player that Loot TV has because it's provided by the same ad provider. But Watch behaves a little different than Loot TV and has been paying out a lot better at a lot of different sites. So some people are making like $4, $5, $6 a day on one stream. Some are only making like 7 cents. It's really dependent on your IP address, your device, how often you're watching, how long you're watching, what GPT website you're linked to, and stuff like that. So a lot of factors involved in how to maximize it and how to earn well on it. But the fact is you can actually make some decent money with Wall. So do the Watch fee option. So I made $11.65 in October through Chequity doing that. Then from there, my next was Amazon Shopper Panel. Amazon Shopper Panel is just one of Amazon's apps where you can upload receipts, upload 10 receipts in a month, and they will give you $10 worth of credit. They also sometimes have surveys that you can take. The surveys are worth doing. They don't take very long. I still consider that part of the passive income because you literally can answer like 4 questions and get like 25 cents for it. Not long question. You don't have to read a whole lot. Real quick, bam, 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 like 5 screens, you're done, sort of thing. You answer the 4 questions, hit submit, you get a quarter. they may send you a few of them. Then they also have an option in there. It's basically like a DNS changer. It's basically delivering their ads instead of others. By using it, they'll give you an extra $2 a month. And then on top of it, they started another option where if you do a specific offer, like they have one for me for Listerine. If I bought any Listerine product and uploaded the receipt showing a Listerine product purchased, they give me like an extra $1 bonus. That's a new beta option they're offering. So a bunch of different ways to earn with the app right now. However, they aren't accepting everyone into all of it. So to get accepted, you basically just download the app, you log in with your Amazon account, and then it'll put you on a waiting list. Some people get in quick, some have waited months. When the program first started, it was really easy to get in. Now you may wait forever, but you don't know until you try. You can, and the part that they're really approving you for is the receipt option, but the option for using what they call VPN, it's not really VPN, but it's using the VPN setting kind of in your phone to switch basically your DNS for ads. That's pretty much available to almost everybody. I don't know about the beta option for the cashback part, because I would assume you'd have to have access to the receipt upload feature, but you never know. The surveys are available to anybody that they've approved the app for, so give it a try, see what you can earn. But I ended up cashing out and getting paid for $12.50. That was basically earned throughout September because they pay you the first week of each month. So that was September earnings paid out in October. So I want to be kind of clear about that. After Amazon was Honeygain. I don't cash out Honeygain very often, mainly because I try not to run it on my networks. I think Honeygain's really bad for your network. Again, just like EarnApp, it can kill your IP quality score, legal issues, stuff like that. It's probably the most popular of the bandwidth sharing apps. Won't say it's the most profitable, but it's probably the most popular. I have quite a few referrals. Very few of them last very long because everyone starts using it and then quickly finds out that you don't earn very quick. But I earned $18.68. I would say 99% of that was referrals. The other 1% was probably me running one instance to keep the account active so that they don't wipe my account and then delete it out, sort of thing. So that was Honeygain. Next would be FreeCash. FreeCash is another GPT website. All of my earnings on FreeCash in October was either referral income or doing the MM Watch videos. I do the MM Watch videos on multiple GPTs, like I said. I only pulled in $19 in October across FreeCash, but it does earn pretty well. I just started running the MM Watch pretty much in October, so you'll see that my earnings from it are kind of spread out. So moving on from FreeCash is Ibotta. Once again, I did another cash out on Ibotta. Ibotta is a cashback site that is kind of like a receipt app slash cashback slash coupon app. They're one of the more popular ones. They're well known. They're pretty reliable. The only thing that's not passive is you have to choose what items you want to be on your list before you go shopping. I attach like my Walmart account, a few other accounts to it so that it automatically scrapes that data and I don't have to upload the receipts. So the majority of the non-passive portion is just me picking out items. I usually pick them out whenever I'm either in the restroom or watching TV or sitting in a doctor's office, something like that, where I'm basically just killing time. That way it's not as passive, not like I'm doing a job sort of thing, but I'll just scroll through, look for some items, add, tap, 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 and then they just sit in there until I go grocery shopping, and then I just buy whatever I normally buy, and if I happen to get something that is in there, it's free money. So I ended up cashing out $30.90 in October. I've been doing the app for, I don't know, probably 8 years or something, but I didn't really do it aggressive. I don't try to be an extreme couponist, so there's a lot of money I've probably left on the table with it, but I've probably made over $1,000 just doing these over the years. So it's a good little earner. Moving on from Ibata, I would say next was GG2U. It's a GPT website as well. With GG2U, again, all referral earnings, which isn't much because most of my referrals ran dry on it. So the majority of my income on it was from Watch again, streaming those videos. I ended up making $43.42 in October. So again, Watch has been a very good earner for me. Some others have had really good luck with it, but I can tell you that my earnings start good and then they dwindle, and then I have to either give it a rest for a while or change things up, like changing IP addresses, devices, stuff like that. So to keep it earning well, you have to put a little bit more effort into it, but again, it's not a whole lot. There's some days, no matter what you do, it still earns, like crap, or it could just suddenly spike and you're earning a ton of money. So I know some people who pretty consistently make $4 a day on it. That's not bad earnings for something that's as passive as this is. So after SimCat, or after GG2U, next is Cash Magnet. Cash Magnet didn't pay me out in September, so I got basically a double payment in October. That payment in October would have been for August and September's earnings, because they always pay a month behind, but they always pay the beginning of the month. I ended up getting paid $63.99. Now, for those who don't know what Cash Magnet is, it's an application that pretty much takes over your entire phone. So you kind of want to dedicate spare phones to it and not your primary. They allow you to have up to 4 devices on each IP address that you have. But it will basically download apps, it will play ads, it will do the runtime style earnings, where if you just let the game run, they'll pay you per minute or whatever. But they probably are also getting some money for just the downloads and such. That's why you want to kind of dedicate the device to it, because it may end up being another app that you're using currently and it can throw some things off. But people who earn well on it are probably making about 20 to 25 cents per device per day. If you're like me, you're probably only making 12.5 to 15 cents a day per device. I have a few different IP addresses, so I have a handful of phones that are running it. So I probably normally average about $30 a month off of, I don't know, 6 to 8 phones. But again, some people are earning a lot better. They put a lot more time into it to maximize it, to automate some things to keep it maximized. And I just don't want to put that much time into anything that should be passive. So that was Cash Magnet. From Cash Magnet, we move on to Freeward. Freeward is another GPT website. All of my earnings from it were either referral earnings, which isn't a lot again, or is from Watch. It was paying out quite well for me in October. I made $80.20. So definitely something to look into if you haven't already. I can tell you now I'm not earning as well this week, but like I said, it fluctuates. So after Freeward was SimCash. I finally cashed in October. This amount was for a couple months, so don't anyone get excited. It was $119.02. That was across about 3 or 4 cell phone lines for about 2 or 3 months worth of earning. I can tell you now, SimCash has heavily died down again in the United States, so I would hold off doing anything with SimCash if you're going to look at that as an income stream. I only keep a few lines for it just to kind of monitor it, and then if it starts hitting good, I might add 1 or 2, but it's a far cry from its prime days a few years back. So That's pretty much all of the passive income I had for October. Total, it was $447.77. That's pretty good for a lot of people. It's not great for anyone who's hardcore into the beer money, because there's a lot of things you can do to increase your income. There's a lot of other apps that I didn't mention that you can automate to make passive, but it usually takes a lot of work to get the automations working. Once they're working, you still have to have the upkeep on it, and then you also got to consider the fact that that pretty much breaks the TOS on just about every earning opportunity you have out there. So I don't really discuss automations like that in these videos. I think that's a whole different topic that deserves its own discussion, and I probably won't do it on YouTube anyway, because then everybody watches it, including the application developers, who will then use that information to take it down. And I also don't want people to rush out, get like 50 phones, automate one app, kill it for everybody, and then move on to the next one just like a virus. That does happen in the beer money community. That's what a lot of the larger farmers are doing to you. A lot of the older farmers had done that early on and had moved on to find ways to extend the life of earning. The smart ones take the long road. A lot of the dumber ones are just like viruses and they kill everything. So take that advice, use it as you will. But yes, there's a lot of other earning opportunities still out there. There are people making like $3,000 a week doing this stuff. They are automating things. They start out just like average people, and then they learn it. So it takes time. Anybody thinking they're going to jump into beer money community and just start raking rewards for doing very little, they've got a whole another story coming to them. It's not like the earlier days where you could just slap the app on any phone, let it play, and it took care of itself. Nowadays, you got to do maintenance with it. You got to keep up on it. You got to be a little bit smarter than the average bear when it comes to finding ways to make it automated, or to make it passive, or just to make it profitable sometimes. So keep all that in mind. If you've got an application I didn't mention, feel free to drop it down in the comments section below. I'd be happy to look over it or explain to you why I don't use it. I'm not really testing anything new right now. I haven't found anything that really interests me. There are other apps out there you can make some decent money on, some easy passive ones. Like there's some other cashback options where you can just attach, basically give companies access to like your debit card transaction information, and you can make money off of that every month. I used to do some of those. I need to get back into them, but I'd love to hear your suggestions. If there's a side hustle that is passive that I haven't tapped into yet, I'm all ears, especially if it's got good returns. For a lot of people, you're coming in here probably expecting a cheap way to start making some income. You can find deals on phones. You can get them for next to nothing. You can ask people for their cast-offs. There are ways to get started pretty much virtually for free, but almost everything you do is going to require some kind of initial startup, whether it's cash, knowledge, access to other people or resources. Like if you're going to have internet access to do almost all of these, so everything comes at a cost. So if you think that there's one way to get started without any cost up front, you're being lied to. There's always a cost somewhere. Now you might not have to pay for your internet. You may not have to pay for your electricity. That's not everybody. That's not the majority of people, but there's other costs you're going to have. So keep it all in mind. The biggest words of wisdom I can give you is kind of plan ahead, ask lots of questions, get into a community like in Discord or in Facebook groups. I would avoid Reddit just because there's a lot of hostility there, a lot of misinformation, and it gets pretty murky going into Reddit. So start out getting information, asking questions before you start buying any hardware, because how you start off your infrastructure and your process makes a huge difference on how well you will perform and how you do long term, and then it also can affect how expensive your farm ends up being. So That's pretty much all I got for today. If you got any other questions, I'm always willing to chit chat. So drop the comments down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get a notification every time I drop new content, and then share all my videos with all your friends. So until next time, have a great one.